Peace if you're willing to fight for it. My name is Amari Rebel, and today I want to take you on a journey. But before I do, around here we're all about black music, black story, and black culture. If that's something you could get down with, go ahead and subscribe. Now, I've been talking about community autonomy as a viable solution to many of the issues facing black people. Today I want to come at it from a bit of a different angle. I remember hearing about these jazz clubs in Chicago in the 1930s and 40s. Now remember, this is a time in the Great Migration where pretty much the hopes of a promised land for black people leaving the South had settled into the disappointment of urban slums. But at night, they would find their ways to these clubs, to these basements, to these holes in the wall to be with other black people listening to the new music. Now, naysayers and haters who ain't know how to mind their business, they just be talking. They so lazy, all they do is part of their life away. They so irresponsible. But what they were missing was that these black people had the power to come together and practice one of the most central tenets of community autonomy. They was in there getting free. For the few hours that they gathered in that basement, in that hole in the wall, they were able to transcend their circumstance and in so doing, tap into the energy, into the power that could keep them going. Now maybe I'll make another video talking about freedom as a process and not a destination, but for now, these people were able to disrupt the pseudo-scientific equation that space and time are inherently linked. That was a whole lot of syllables, pseudo-scientific. Now at the risk of taking it too far, time travel is not only real, we do it all the time. Walk with me. A young rebel running the streets of New York City. Now, I've never been a party dude, but there was one party I always made sure that I was at, and it was called the Manjinga Party. If you know, you know. Now, there were a whole bunch of things that were special about this party, but for now, I want to focus on the time. So, you say you step up in the spot at 11:45, 12 o'clock. I'm in my early 20s. I could be out at that ungodly hour. Me and my sister Tracy just kind of peeping the scene, doing our little two-step on the wall, because it's how you do your two-step. And the music was always popping. I'm talking the whole diaspora, United Snakes, continent of Africa, South America. But by the time it got to the Caribbean, you better watch yo. I'm talking Sizzler, I'm talking Buju, I'm talking Ja Cure, I'm talking Barris. And by the time they put on Gregory Isaac's Night Nurse, you had to grab the first African that you saw, and y'all get to whining. And by the time the wine is up, you look at your phone and realize it's 4 a.m. This is Soular Rock, a maroon experience of collective flight, guided by rhythm and movement. Now the type of music that I make is called Soular Rock, blending the best of African musical traditions, but it's more than that. It's a state of being. So there are 3 truths of Soular Rock that I want to share with you. Solar power generates from within. Imagination as vision, memory, and culture is the truest source of knowledge. Black love is our cutlass. So the first one, solar power generates from within. There were a lot of great comments on the previous video about this concept of power. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and click right here. Community autonomy is not about looking outside of ourselves. It's about refocusing our perspective on things like resources and recognizing that we already have the things that we need to do what we must. Number 2 is imagination as vision, memory, and culture is the truest source of knowledge. Marcus Garvey already told us, a people without a vision perish. How different would our plight be if we had the ability to surpass the limits on our imagination? Our collective memory and our culture have given us so much more wisdom than we sometimes acknowledge. And number 3 is black love is our cutlass. Our relationships are the most valuable resources that we have. Now, romantic love is cool, Afromantic. But I'm talking about a love where we center the well-being of each other. Beyond that, a multi-generational outlook on how we move would change everything. My wife and I ask ourselves on a regular basis, are we in our day-to-day living with our grandchildren in mind? What if we were to take up Amilcar Cabral's mandate that my brother Samori Kamara often reminds us of? We must act as if we answer to and only answer to our ancestors, our children, and the unborn. I am committed to building the Soular Rock Nation. Not only can it be done, it must be done. There are countless worlds on this planet Earth. Soular Rock is but one, but this one is ours. Rooted in the fertile soil of imagination and nourished by the infinite river of black genius, Soular Rock brings us back together through the cosmic power of the one. So tell me, do you want to go? I am Amari Rebel, and as always, I bid you peace if you're willing to fight for it. Until Until next time.